Hello student, my name is Mrs. Usha Lodhawat, physics teacher from Ferguson College, Pune. Today we are going to start your first chapter from the textbook provided by the State Board. The name of the chapter is Rotational Dynamics. So now let us move to the PowerPoint presentation. Now, here we will see what is the meaning of this rotational dynamics. So, rotational means what? Motion of the object or movement of the object about the center or about the axis. And dynamics is nothing but the movement under the action of the forces. So in rotational dynamics, we are going to learn about the movement of the object about the center or about the axis under the action of the forces. Okay. Now the content of these chapters are introduction to circular motion, difference between the circular motion and rotational motion, characteristic of circular motion, kinematics of circular motion, uniform circular motion, non-uniform circular motion, centripetal and centrifugal forces, applications of uniform circular motion, vertical circular motion, then moment of inertia, theorem of parallel and perpendicular axis, and angular momentum and its conservation. Now, first of all, we will see how the dynamics came. Now, just now we have seen that dynamics is the branch of physics which deals with the study of the motion of the object under the action of force. Now, this dynamics arises from the mechanics. So, what is the mechanics? Mechanics is the area of the physics which concerned with the study of the macroscopic object and which produces displacement under the action of force. Again, this mechanics is getting classified into two branches, statistics and kinetics. Now, what is the statistic? Statistics is nothing but the study of the object when it is at rest or when it is in equilibrium. Now, here you know when the object is placed on a horizontal surface, there are the two forces acting on the object. Its weight mg in vertically downward direction and normal reaction n which is in vertically upward direction. Both these forces are equal and opposite, so they balances each other and does not affect the body, so that the body will be remaining in equilibrium condition. So study of this object when it is in equilibrium condition or at rest, it is known as the statistic, or also we can say that the study of the object in equilibrium condition, that is known as the statistics. Okay, so study of the object in equilibrium or study of the forces when the object is in equilibrium is known as the statistic. Now, after that, we will see what kinetics is, the branch of mechanics which deals with the study of the motion of the object. Again, this kinetics is getting divided into two branches. Okay, so which are the two branches? So kinematics and the dynamics. So in kinematics, we are going to learn about the motion of the object without the reference of the force. Means here we are going to learn the motion without its cause, which is the force. Now again here we are going to learn about the displacement, velocity and acceleration, but not the cause of all these physical quantity, that is the force. And in dynamics, we are going to learn about the motion of the object under the action of forces. So this is the difference between the kinematics and dynamics. I will revise again. In kinematics, we are going to learn about only the motion of the object, but not its cause, which is the force. Whereas in dynamics, we are going to learn about the motion as well as the force which causes it. Now, after that, we will see what is the introduction of the circular motion. Now, in this, first of all, we will see what is the difference between the circular motion and the rotational motion. About the circular motion, many things you already have been learnt in the 11th standard. Now, circular motion, as you know, it is the motion of the object along the circumference of the circle with the change in direction of the linear velocity. And rotational motion is motion of rigid body about an axis of rotation passing through the body and perpendicular to the plane of rotation. Here, this rigid body is rotating in XY plane, where the axis of rotation is perpendicular to this plane. When this rigid body is rotating, then different particles of the body, that is P1, P2, they are revolving in a horizontal circle of radius R1, R2 act. Okay, so the plane of rotation is here horizontal. Now, here we are talking about the rigid body, but question arises in your mind, what is meant by the rigid body? Rigid body is that body which does not changes its size and shape under the action of force. So, this is the difference between the circular motion and the rotational motion. So, circular motion is the motion of object along the circumference of circle with the change in direction of the linear velocity, whereas rotational motion is the motion of rigid body about an axis of rotation passing through the body and perpendicular to the plane of rotation. Now, this difference we can clear from this animation. See, this is just the circular motion, motion of the object along the circumference of the circle. And this is the rotational motion. The rigid body is rotating in a horizontal plane about an axis which is perpendicular to this horizontal plane. Okay. Now, after that, we will see what are the characteristics of the circular motion. About this, you might be learned in the 11th standard. So, there are two characteristics. First, it is an accelerated motion because the direction of the velocity changes at every instant. Now, consider the same figure here. See, when the object is at this position, this will be the direction of the linear velocity. When objects comes to this position, this will be the direction of the linear velocity. At this place, this will be the direction of the linear velocity. In this way, the direction of the linear velocity is continuously changing so that it is an accelerated motion. Okay. Now, again, you can see that direction of the velocity changes in such a way that at every instant, it is remaining along the tangent to the circle, so that this linear velocity is also known as the tangential velocity. Now, how the direction of this linear velocity at every instant is along the tangent to the circle. So, we can see from this animation, see, direction of the linear velocity at any instant is remaining along the tangent to the circle. So, this linear velocity v is given by the equation 2 pi r divided by t, where 2 pi r is the circumference of the circle and r with the radius r, and t is the period of the particle performing this motion. So, this is the first characteristic. Second characteristic is it is periodic motion because during the motion, the particle repeats its path along the same trajectory after equal interval of time. See here, this particle is repeating its path along the same trajectory after equal interval of time. So this is periodic motion. So in this way, we have seen that there are two characteristics of the circular motion. First, it is an accelerated motion as the direction of the tangential velocity changes at every instant. And second, it is the periodic motion because during the motion, the particle repeats its path along the same trajectory after equal interval of time. Then we will see what are the kinematics of circular motion. Okay, now you already know, here we will compare the kinematical equation in linear motion with the kinematical equation in rotational motion or the circular motion. Now, this kinematical equation in linear motion you already know. First kinematical equation for linear motion is V equal to U plus AT, where V is the final velocity, U is the initial velocity of a particle performing linear motion, A is the acceleration of a particle performing linear motion, T is the time required by the particle to perform the linear motion. Similar first kinematical equation for rotational motion is omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t, where omega is final angular velocity of a particle performing the circular or rotational motion, omega 0 is the initial angular velocity, alpha is the angular acceleration of a particle performing the rotational or circular motion, and t is the time required by the particle to perform the circular motion. Second kinematical equation for linear motion is S equal to ut plus half at square, where S is the displacement of the particle performing the linear motion, and similar kinematical equation for rotational motion is theta equal to omega 0 t plus half alpha t square, where theta is the angular displacement of a particle performing rotational or the circular motion. Then third kinematical equation for linear motion is V square equal to U square plus 2AS. Similar kinematical equation to rotational motion is omega square equal to omega 0 square plus 2 alpha into theta. So this is about the kinematics of the circular motion. Then we will see what is the analogy between the linear motion and the rotational motion. Now, already you know about the linear motion. The linear displacement is given by the symbol S, which is the rate of change of distance in a given interval of time. Similarly, in rotational motion, the angular displacement is given by the symbol theta, which is the angle traced out by the radius vector in a given interval of time. Linear velocity is given by the equation V equal to ds by dt, which is the rate of change of linear displacement. Similarly, angular velocity omega is given by the equation d theta by dt, which is the rate of change of angular displacement. Again, linear acceleration is given by the equation dv by dt, which is the rate of change of linear velocity. Similarly, angular acceleration is given by the equation d omega by dt, which is the rate of change of angular velocity. So this is the analogy between the linear motion and the rotational motion. After that, we will see what is the right hand thumb rule. Now, direction of the angular velocity omega can be found by using this right hand thumb rule. So what is the right hand thumb rule? Curve the fingers of the right hand so in along the sense of rotation with the thumb outstretched. Then thumb gives the direction of the angular velocity omega. Now see in this figure, the fingers are curled in a sense of rotation, or this curled finger will be denoting the sense of rotation, whereas this outstretched thumb will be denoting the direction of the angular velocity omega. And from this figure you can say that the direction of the angular velocity omega is always outward and perpendicular to this plane of rotation. Again, this is the direction of the linear velocity which is along the tangent to the circle, as we know already. And r is the position vector. Now from figure we can say that this omega and r, they are exactly perpendicular to each other. So in magnitude and direction, this linear velocity is given by the equation v equal to omega cross r, and in magnitude this velocity v will be equal to r into omega. Again, we know that omega is equal to 2 pi n. Okay, this n is the frequency of a particle performing the circular motion, so which is always equal to reciprocal of time. So we can write down omega is equal to 2 pi divided by t. Okay, now again we will see how the direction of this angular velocity omega is changing. Now here the fingers are curled in anti-clockwise direction, means sense of rotation is anti-clockwise direction, then this thumb will be pointing in the upward direction. So you can say that when the sense of rotation is anti-clockwise, then the direction of the angular velocity upward. Now here the fingers are curled in clockwise direction, means sense of rotation is clockwise. Then this thumb will be pointing in the downward direction, means angular velocity will be in the downward direction. Again, when the fingers are curled in this sense, then this will denote the direction of the angular velocity. Means from all these, we can say that the direction of the angular velocity is always outward and perpendicular to the plane of rotation. So here all think about the right hand thumb rule. Okay, now after that we will solve one numerical which depends upon the kinematical equation. What is? Somehow an ant is stuck to the rim of a bicycle wheel of diameter 1 meter. While the bicycle is on a central stand, the wheel is set into rotation and attains the frequency of 2 revolutions per second in 10 seconds with uniform angular acceleration. Then calculate number of revolutions completed by the ant in this 10 seconds and time taken by it for first complete revolution and the last complete revolution. See here, write the given data. Diameter is given to you 1 meter, so that the radius is 0.5 meter. Then n, that is the frequency, is 2 revolutions per second in time t 10 seconds. We have to calculate the number of revolution in 10 seconds, then time for first revolution and time for the last revolution. Now see, here is the solution. So we already know that omega, that is the angular velocity, is given by the equation 2 pi n, which is equal to 2 pi into 2, n is 2. So I am getting this angular velocity as 4 pi radian per second. Now use the first kinematical equation, omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. But here initial angular velocity is 0, so this term will become 0. Now alpha still we have to calculate. time is given to you 10. Now substitute the value of omega as 4 pi. So this equation will become 4 pi equal to 10 alpha, so that alpha will be 0.4 pi radian per second. Then for use this kinematical equation, theta equal to omega 0 t plus half alpha t square for calculating the number of revolution in 10 seconds. So again, initial angular velocity is 0. So this whole term will become 0. Then half alpha is 0.4 pi and t is the 10. So t square will be 100. So if I am calculating this, we will get the answer as 20 pi radian. So the number of revolution is always equal to theta upon 2 pi, which is 20 pi divided by 2 pi is equal to 10. So number of revolution is always equal to 10. Now we have to calculate the time for first revolution. Here again take theta equal to 2 pi and equation theta equal to omega 0 t plus half alpha t square. Keep the value of the theta as 2 pi. Again initial angular velocity is 0. So this term will become 0. Then half alpha t square means what? Alpha is 0.4 pi and t square, that is the time for the first revolution, still it is to be calculated. Now if I am simplifying the equation, then you will get the time for the first revolution as root 10 second. Now after that I have to calculate the time for the last revolution. In this case, if the time for 9th revolution is getting subtracted from the time for the 10th revolution, then we will be getting the time for the last revolution. Again use the kinematical equation theta equal to omega 0 t plus half alpha t square. Now here we are calculating the time for the 9th revolution. So this theta should be multiplied with 9. So 2 pi into 9. Again this term will become 0 as the initial angular velocity is 0 plus half, that is alpha means 0.4 pi and it is t square. So we have to calculate this t. Now if I am going to simplify this equation, I will get the time for the last revolution, time for the 10th revolution is 9.487 seconds. Now time for the last revolution can be calculated by subtracting this time from the 10. That will come 0.573. Okay, so in this way we have to calculate the time for the first revolution and the time for the last revolution. Now next we are going to learn about the uniform circular motion and non-uniform circular motion. Now we already seen that circular motion is an accelerated motion because the direction of the linear velocity or the tangential velocity at every instant is going on changing. But what about the magnitude of the linear velocity or the speed of the particle? Now in some circular motion, magnitude of the angular velocity or the speed remaining constant, and in some circular motion it is going on changing. So if the speed or the magnitude of the velocity remains constant, then that motion is known as the uniform circular motion. So during the circular motion, if the speed of the particle, or you can write down the magnitude of the velocity remains constant, then it is called as uniform circular motion. And again we know in this case the direction of the velocity changes at every instant but always remain tangential to the circle. Now see this figure. This direction of the linear velocity is always along the tangent to the circle, means there is a change in the linear velocity because it is an accelerated motion, and as it is an accelerated motion, there is a acceleration of a particle which is along the radius toward the center of its circle. This acceleration is known as the centripetal acceleration. Again, it is also known as the tangential acceleration because this acceleration arises due to the change in the direction of the tangential velocity. It is also known as the radial acceleration because it is always along the radius. Now, in 11th standard, we have learned that this centripetal acceleration is given by the equation AR equal to minus of omega square R. Now, why here minus sign is taken? Because direction of the radius vector and the centripetal acceleration are opposite. Radius vector is always away from the center, whereas the acceleration is towards the center. So, AR equal to minus of omega square R. Now, in magnitude, this centripetal acceleration is given by the equation AR equal to omega square R. But again, we have seen the equation V equal to R into omega, so that omega equal to V upon R. Now substitute the value of the omega in this equation. So I am getting AR equal to V square by R, or we can write down AR equal to V omega. Means we have seen that due to the change in the direction of the tangential velocity, there is a centripetal acceleration. But what about the angular acceleration alpha? Okay, now here the magnitude of the velocity is always remaining constant. Means what? There is no change in the velocity, so that there is no angular acceleration, because angular acceleration is the rate of change of the velocity, or angular acceleration is rate of change of the angular velocity, which is given by the equation d omega by dt we have seen in the kinematical equation. But as there is no rate of change of velocity, means magnitude of the velocity is remaining constant, so this angular acceleration will always be equal to 0. Okay, now we will see. So this angular acceleration will be equal to 0. So here I have written, as the speed of the particle remains constant, angular acceleration alpha will remain 0 or constant. Okay. So hello student, in this way we have learned about the introductory part of this circular motion, in which we have seen what is the difference between the circular motion, rotational motion, then what are the characteristics of the circular motion, what are the kinematics of the circular motion, what is the analogy between the linear motion and circular or rotational motion. Then we have seen the right hand thumb rule for finding out the direction of the angular velocity omega, and then we have seen what is the uniform circular motion.